Welcome to NarrativeNook audio tales where enchanted stories come to life. If you enjoy our stories, please subscribe, like and share to support our channel. Enjoy listening.
Dane, take it easy. Carl and I will go out and see what is going on. You guys protect Zane. Make sure nothing goes wrong. Nicole instructed the 10 bodyguards she had selected earlier. What are you doing? I don't need protection. Zane looked at Nicole, not too happy. Nicole knew Zane's temperament and could only look at him with a solemn face. This is not the time to try to be brave. All you have to do is protect yourself, so Carl and I can concentrate on the enemy. If something happens to you, then there is no point in us coming here. Nicole took Zane's hand and held it with force. What Nicole said made sense. Zane saw she was now no less capable than he was, and besides, he did have mobility problems, so it would be worse if he went and got into trouble. Okay, you guys must be careful. Don't worry. We won't die until we get you out of here. Nicole smiled, then left with Carl and the others. Nicole and Carl arrived at the best observation point and found a group of sneak attackers approaching the minefield. Carl, take a few men to this side of the minefield and ambush anyone who crosses it, Nicole instructed. Okay, you guys come with me. Carl led a group of men toward the minefield. You take a couple of guys and stay on guard in case someone sneaks up from somewhere else. Nicole looked at the man beside her. The rest of you hid around the house, and don't let anyone get near it. After finishing deploying the men, Nicole found a higher ground to get a panoramic view of the situation, as well as the best sniper spot. It did not take long for the sound of an explosion to come from the minefield. Everyone tensed up. Nicole took the binoculars to watch Carl's side. Smoke billowed as one after another explosion sounded. The sneak attackers were blown apart, and no one dared to come forward anymore. This is a minefield. Do not move. Fall back the same way we have come. The leading guy with beard ordered. After seeing his comrades being blown into pieces, they did not dare to go further. Carl watched the sneak attackers withdraw beyond Roca Este. Only then he had the battlefield cleaned up and the minefield rigged up again. It was to erase the traces of the explosion that had just occurred so that it looked as if nothing had happened here. Nicole met up with Carl. Have the sneak attackers retreated? Yes, they have suffered huge casualties in the minefield and are pulling out beyond Roca Este. This is the gear we have captured, and the minefield has been rigged up again, Carl reported to Nicole. Good. Distribute the gear among our people, send reinforcement to the entrance of Roca Este, and get someone to keep an eye on the waters close to the shore. With that, Nicole walked toward Zane's location. Zane, the sneak attackers have retreated. This time, there was a minefield, and that was why they didn't cross over. But things would be uncertain next time. I'm worried that they will find another opportunity to sneak in, so we should leave as soon as possible. Nicole looked at Zane and asked for his opinion. Indeed. Judging by the number of people in this sneak attack, they are just testing the waters. The minefield can't hold them off all the time, so you contact the rescue people now and tell them to come over immediately, Zane said. Okay. Nicole immediately took out her pager and made contact. Since we can't use local boats will take half a day to arrive at the earliest, Nicole reported back to Zane. Okay. Order some men to hide for an ambush. Tell them to intercept any enemy entering Roca Este. The rest of the men head near the pickup spots and withdraw to the nearest boats as soon as they arrive. Leave the best equipment and ammunition for the men guarding the entrance. Zane looked at Nicole with a serious face. Nicole understood what Zane meant and then walked out with Carl to get ready. Carl, you go to the middle pickup spot and ambush. Keep an eye on the pickup spots on both sides. After Nicole completed the deployment of one of the pickup spots, she found a higher ground nearby to observe the entrance to Roca Este. Zane also led an ambush near the pickup spot and then had to wait quietly for the boat to arrive. On the other side, Franco listened to the report of the returning bearded man in the building, looking not the slightest surprised, as if he had expected this result. Assemble the team right away and take 4 more sappers to sweep the mines, this time wiping out Zane and the others at once. Franco looked at the bearded man and barked his order, then picked up a glass of wine and took a sip as he looked at Roca Este on the monitor. At noon, with the sun baking the earth, Zane's men hid in the bushes. As they spoke, a large group of armed men advanced toward the island at the entrance to Roca Este. As they watched, the bearded man led the group to a stop where the minefield was. "Sappers!" the bearded man shouted. Immediately, 4 sappers came forward to sweep the mines. There were no snipers among the men who had been ambushing outside the minefield, so they saw the sappers sweeping the mines but could do nothing about it. Nicole, who ambushed at the pickup spot nearest to the minefield, saw the situation through the binoculars and immediately moved toward the minefield. By the time she reached the higher ground and was in range, the sappers had already cleared several mines. She grabbed her sniper rifle and took down the sapper, who was demoning at the front. The other sappers saw that and immediately retreated for cover. A few seconds later, they came out and continued to clear the mines. Nicole took out 2 more sappers with 2 shots. At this point, there was 1 sapper left. So someone immediately stepped forward to protect the only sapper, but they did not see where the sniper was and did not know which direction to return fire. Even with protection, the sapper still had to continue to clear the mines. Another shot was taken. Nicole took out the last sapper, leaving the enemy completely with no sappers. The bearded man furiously picked up a machine gun and shot a few rounds in random directions, hitting nothing. He looked angrily at the minefield in front of them and cursed frustratedly before ordering his team to back up and take cover. After contemplating for a while, the bearded man and those armed men turned around, abandoning their plan to go through the minefield. The bearded man led his team, trekking through mountains and forests carefully. Perhaps afraid of stepping on a mine, they moved slightly slower. After a long while, the group came to a rocky cliff, and the bearded man looked upward. "You 2 go over there and see if you can climb up." 2 men went to check under the cliff and then came back and reported, "We should be able to get up there using grappling hooks." The bearded man turned around and ordered, "Prepare grappling hooks and go up as fast as you all can." His men immediately took the grappling hooks and threw them toward the top of the cliff. "Ready to go." "Go!" the bearded man commanded. His men climbed, following the rope lines. Halfway up the cliff, the rope suddenly snapped, and they fell from the height of dozens of feet and were severely injured. The bearded man looked up but saw no one, thinking that sharp rock surfaces might have worn the rope, causing it to snap. So he ordered his men to bind 2 strands of rope into one and climb again. As they were halfway up the cliff, the same thing happened. The bearded man looked up the cliff again with bafflement, suspecting if there was someone up there. He instructed a few men to come over. "A few of you climb using the grappling hooks. The rest of you find some spots where you can climb with your hands and set up a human ladder. This time, even if there is someone up there, they can't stop me." The bearded man looked upward with confidence. "What do we do this time? They're spreading out and climbing up." The few people Nicole had arranged to ambush here ran out of countermeasures. "You go and inform the nearest team to come over for reinforcements. The rest, hold on to your positions. Never let them climb up." The bearded man's men barely found a place where they could climb up barehanded. They set up multiple human ladders, working their way up toward the top of the cliff. Zane's men threw rocks and all available things at the human ladders. When one human ladder went down, a new one came up. At last, they could no longer hold their position and perished together with the enemy. After all of the men of the bearded man came up, they immediately searched the island. Carl received a distress call and immediately rushed to the cliff with his men. On the way, he and the bearded man respectively perceived a movement ahead and immediately ordered their men to take cover. After a while of taking cover and seeing no movement, the bearded man ordered a few men to go check out the situation. Carl, a stager at this, instructed those behind him, "No one shoots." "Boss, there is nothing unusual." Several people ran back to report to the bearded man. The bearded man swaggered out. "Keep moving. Make sure you catch Zane and the 2 guys coming in after him alive. Never let the 3 of them get away." The bearded man's team continued to advance in Zane's direction. Carl immediately alerted Nicole of the bearded man's location and then encircled him in the back, cutting off his retreating route. After a while, through the binoculars, Nicole saw the bearded man leading a group of men moving in her direction. Wait until they get to the heel before you shoot. The leader needs to be taken alive, Nicole instructed. Seeing that the bearded man's team had entered the ambush circle, Nicole ordered her men to shoot, and they aimed all the guns at the bearded man's team. The bearded man and his men immediately took cover while returning fire. In the chaos, both sides had lost some men. As the bearded man's team was in plain sight, they suffered higher casualties. Seeing his men fall one by one, the bearded man ordered a retreat. Before they could retreat far, Carl cut off their retreating route from the back. The bearded man was desperate and led his men to fight their way out. Carl's team was outnumbered, and most of them were killed or injured in the exchange of fire. As the bearded man and his men continued to fight their way out, Carl was almost overwhelmed. At last, the bearded man gradually broke through the ambush. Nicole and her men quickly closed in on Carl's side, and the two sides converged and pressed forward on the bearded man. Nicole saw the bearded man's intention and aimed a shot at his leg. The bearded man fell to the ground. His men tried to help him, but they were killed by Carl. Nicole and Carl led their men to surround them. The bearded man tried to finish himself off with a gun, but the gun was out of bullets, and Nicole took him alive. Nicole brought the bearded man to come in front of Zane, who looked over at him and asked, "Who are you working for?" The bearded man was stubborn and did not look at Zane. Carl stepped on the bearded man's wound, causing him to grimace in pain. "Speak." The bearded man gritted his teeth and fought back the pain. As Carl stepped harder on his wound, the bearded man sweated in pain. "It's Franco." "Franco." Zane repeatedly mumbled the unfamiliar name. He had never heard of the man in all his life operating internationally. "Why is he working against me?" Zane's eyes were filled with puzzlement. "Remember 5 years ago when you destroyed an underground organization? The leader of that organization is Franco's father." Hearing what happened 5 years ago, Zane could almost see the scene of that day. In the bloody battle, he succeeded in destroying the underground organization that had done so much harm to people. He killed the leader of the organization but did not expect that the child he spared was Franco, who was taking revenge today. Back then, Franco hid in a dark corner and watched his father die in front of his eyes. Since then, he joined an organization and kept strengthening himself. Eventually, he took out the original leader and became the new overlord. He had been looking for Zane ever since. This time, trapping Zane was the best opportunity for him. After knowing his enemy's purpose, Zane fell into contemplation. "What about this guy?" Nicole asked Zane for his opinion. Zane looked at the bearded man. "He is our bargaining chip. Bring him aboard." Franco, who was in the building and had still not received any news for a long time, started to have a bad feeling. Beardeye hasn't sent a message back for so long. He must have been killed. "Zane, I'm going to cut you into pieces. Send 2 more teams to encircle Zane by land and sea respectively and bring Zane back to me alive." Franco could not sit still. He stood up, puffing away as he looked toward Roca Este. Soon, 2 teams of Franco's men surrounded Roca Este by land and sea. "Boss, there are 2 groups of men surrounding Roca Este from land and sea." A henchman quickly ran in to report to Zane. "It looks like Franco is desperate," Zane said in a calm voice. Zane looked at Nicole. "Find out how long until the boats arrive." "Okay." Nicole went out to contact the rescue boats. Soon, she walked back in and whispered in Zane's ear. "Everyone evac to the previous pickup points according to plan," Zane instructed. Carl, take the bearded man and go to the middle pickup point," Nicole told Carl. "What about you?" Carl looked at Nicole worriedly. "I will protect Zane and escort him to the pickup point on the far right. See you in Armoda. Take care." The 2 of them glanced at each other, then went about their business. Carl took the bearded man and arrived at the middle pickup point without incident, while Nicole and Zane were going to the far right pickup point. Nicole had informed the rescue team that the leftmost pickup point had been cancelled, so one of the boats was acting as an escort for the other two boats. The two teams sent by Franco quickly came around toward the center of Roca Este. The team that came from the land route encountered the minefield and lost some men, but there was no ambush after that. They quickly moved toward the house where Zane was hiding and carefully launched an encirclement of the empty house. After throwing some smoke bombs, they stormed and searched the house without finding Zane. The leader of the group knew it was a trap and reported it to Franco. Franco was a little surprised to receive the news. There was only one entrance and exit on the entire island. His men had been monitoring it, and no way Zane could have escaped. After pondering for a moment, a possibility came to mind. Check out the beach immediately. They may try to escape by sea. Stop them and if necessary, kill Zane. Franco's eyes were burning with anger. He would not let Zane escape, even if he had to kill Zane outright. Nicole and Zane led an ambush at the pickup point. As the boat was about to arrive from a distance, a group of men appeared 300 feet away. Nicole had guessed that Franco's men were looking for them and immediately ordered, "Protect Zane and get on the boat." She took out her weapon and led a fight to the death with the enemy. When Carl heard gunfire coming from Nicole's side, he knew that Franco's men had caught up with her. "Take cover," Carl told the men behind him. Soon, there were two speedboats heading toward the place where the gunshots were heard. Carl saw the situation and had no time to think. He ordered, "Stop these two speedboats." He knew that if these two speedboats got there, Nicole and Zane would be surrounded and in deep situation, so he had to stop these two speedboats here, no matter what. Carl grabbed his sniper rifle and shot the helmsman, sending him dropping dead into the water, then led his men in a frantic blockade. The other speedboat did not engage Carl but bypassed him and headed straight for Nicole. Carl handed the bearded man to his men and ran for Nicole and Zane. As the boat coming to Nicole's rescue stopped at the pickup point, Nicole looked back. "Take Zane on board." Everyone fired back while retreating toward the rescue boat. Zane made his way to the boat with everyone protecting him. Franco's men saw Zane on board and attacked even more frantically. "Go." As the enemy's attack was getting more intense, Nicole decided to stay behind to buy time for Zane. Receiving Nicole's command, the boat sped off at once. Zane shouted for the boat to stop, but the boat still sped away as fast as it could. He looked back from afar at Nicole, who was fighting to stop the enemy, and felt bad and helpless. There was nothing he could not do except watch Nicole fight the enemy. Carl came to Nicole's side and said, "Zane has escaped to a safe distance. Come with me." Carl covered Nicole as she retreated toward his pickup point. Franco's men were pursuing them relentlessly, intending to wipe them out. But with Nicole and Carl working seamlessly together, Franco's men did not dare to close in on them. "Get on board first." Carl gestured for Nicole to go. Nicole glanced at Carl and quickly got on board. Carl grabbed the bearded man and used him as his shield. "Don't shoot. It's me." The bearded man shouted desperately for fear that he would be killed. Franco's men saw the bearded man and stopped shooting. Carl took the opportunity to retreat toward the boat. The bearded man, freed now, limped toward his men, who started to shoot in Carl's direction again. Nicole saw the situation and immediately went to pull Carl on board while telling the boat to set off. Just as Carl was about to get to the boat, Nicole was shot in the arm. But she endured the pain and pulled Carl onto the boat. "You're hurt." Carl saw Nicole's arm bleeding. "I'm fine. Take out the bearded man," Nicole instructed. As the boat sped out to sea at full speed, Carl took up his sniper rifle and shot at the bearded man, killing him instantly. When Franco's men saw that the bearded man had died, they jumped on their speedboats and pursued Nicole and Carl. Nicole ignored her wounded arm and continued to shoot at the pursuers from the boat with Carl. The pursuing speedboats were destroyed by machine gun fire. On the other side, Zane's boat had also got away. Both boats headed toward the escort boat. The three boats regrouped and steered toward Armada. When they arrived safely in Armada, Zane's men had been waiting for them there. The three checked into a high-end hotel. Carl came into Nicole's room and looked at the bandage on Nicole's arm with a guilty look on his face. If it weren't for saving me, you wouldn't have gotten hurt. Nicole glanced down at her arm. It is just a minor injury. I will be fine. Don't blame yourself. Carl sat her down in a chair. I know you're a great healer, but don't delay in treating this wound. I will help you with it now. Nicole smiled when she saw the first aid kit in Carl's hand. Looks like you came prepared. Carl glanced at the first aid kit in his hand. Of course. After rebandaging Nicole's wound, Carl finally breathed a sigh of relief. Apply your medication once a day, and I guess it will be fine soon. You still remember my medication works better, eh? Nicole teased him. Of course I remember. Whenever I was injured in the past, it was you who treated me. Carl looked at Nicole with pride. What's the next plan? Carl suddenly asked Nicole with a serious face. Now Zane and Nicole were injured, and if Franco came looking for them now, they would be no match for him. I think we should return to base immediately. We can't stay here much longer. Nicole said after pondering for a while. It got riskier with each extra day staying here. Absolutely. That is what I thought. Carl looked over at her. Let's go find Zane. Nicole stood up and headed outside. Zane's men guarding the door of Zane's room saw Nicole and Carl and gave a knock on the door before opening it for them. How are your injuries? Nicole was the first to speak. She cared about Zane's condition. It isn't deteriorating. I'm more worried about you. Is your injury serious? Zane asked with concern as he motioned for her to sit beside him. It is just a minor injury, no big deal. Nicole sounded cool, as she did not want Zane to worry about her. Nicole wouldn't have been hurt if it wasn't for saving me. Carl blamed himself. Nicole shot a look at him. You never looked this sad when you got hurt for protecting me previously. What's wrong now? Don't mention it again. She then turned to Zane. Do you have any plans now? I've asked someone to prepare the helicopter. As soon as the helicopter arrives, we will fly back to the base. It is not safe to stay here for long. Zane looked at them both seriously. We have the same thinking. Franco won't give up. Maybe they are already on their way, Nicole said as a matter of fact. That's right. Before the helicopter arrives, we can't let down our guard yet. You guys go back and get ready. I will let you know as soon as the helicopter arrives, Zane said. Then we will leave and get ready. Nicole got up and left with Carl. Back in her room, Nicole took out her cell phone and received several messages from Jared as soon as she turned it on. It warmed her heart to read the messages from Jared. I'm fine. Don't worry. Nicole compiled a few words with one hand and sent them to him before quickly turning off her phone. Jared was sitting at his desk, looking through the files, when his phone suddenly buzzed. He picked it up and checked the message immediately. Since Nicole left and whenever his phone rang, he would check his phone. Immediately when it rang, as if afraid to miss Nicole's message. He finally received a message from Nicole, and he quickly read it. It was a huge relief for him. Jared wrote a message and replied to Nicole, but he did not get a reply for a long time. Jared looked at his phone and felt disappointed. Just then, there was a knock on the door, and Max walked in. Mr. Johnston, the launch event, which the multinational company announced a few days ago, has been postponed for a week for some reason, Max said. Postponed for a week? Yes. Find out what is going on, Jared said. Nicole, the helicopter has arrived. Get to the rooftop immediately. Zane called Nicole. Copy that. Nicole immediately grabbed her backpack and headed for the elevator. While walking past Carl's room, she knocked on the door. On the rooftop, Zane, who was already waiting in the helicopter, saw Nicole and Carl and called out, "Hurry up." After Nicole and Carl got on board, the helicopter took off and flew toward Zane's base at once. After a long flight, they finally landed at the base. It was now completely safe, and Nicole's tense mind eased up. You guys get some good rest at the base and go back only after you two have recovered fully. Zane looked at Nicole. Nicole nodded. As Zane left, she and Carl went to their resting place. What do you think about Franco? He is still a threat as long as he lives. Carl looked at Nicole with a serious face. Tell me what you have in mind. Nicole knew Carl best. I'm thinking of gathering a strike team to raid Franco's lair after you have recovered from your injuries. Carl still dared to speak his mind in front of Nicole. Nicole thought for a moment. I have also considered it before. I will find a chance to discuss it with Zane later. Then get some rest. I will also get some rest too. Let me know if you need anything, and I will send it straight over to you. Carl cocked an eyebrow at her and left. A week later, Nicole and Carl were suddenly summoned to see Zane. You are looking for us? Nicole looked at Zane. Take a seat. I have something to tell you guys. Tomorrow, a multinational company is going to hold a launch event, during which tech and medical products will be announced. You too, come with me to the launch event tomorrow. If the new stuff is helpful for weapons, we have to get all the supplies and not let the product flow into the market. So serious? Nicole looked at Zane with a grave face. Yeah. I have received information that a peace-destroying, clandestine organization called the Raven is trying to get their hands on this invention. So the thing that this company is launching is likely to be useful in weaponry. We can't let this thing fall into the hands of the clandestine organization. Zane's expression at this moment was both serious and earnest. Got it, Nicole and Carl said in unison. Zane's gaze swept over Nicole's injured arm. Has your arm recovered yet? It has recovered, Nicole replied with no hesitation. Carl gave her a look. Go back and get ready. We will depart at 9. Nicole and Carl walked out of Zane's office, and Carl spoke up. Your arm has obviously not completely healed. Why didn't you tell Zane the truth? Nicole quickly dragged him to a place where no one was around. You heard what Zane just said, didn't you? The Raven is also eyeing that thing, and it means that the thing must be useful. If a fight breaks out tomorrow, I will be by Zane's side to protect him, and you go grab the thing. Otherwise, the consequences of the thing falling into the hands of the Raven will be unthinkable. Nicole told Carl what was at stake. Carl understood what Nicole was saying, but she still had a wound on her arm. He was worried about who was going to protect her when the time came. I know you won't listen to me. Bring more men with you, just in case. Carl would only be less worried if more men were with Nicole. Okay. The two of them walked to the training ground, where there were many mercenaries training. Nicole swept her eyes over them and then selected 10 experienced special mercenaries to follow her. Coming to Hall A, Nicole looked at them solemnly. You're going to go on a mission with me in a minute. Your job is to protect the boss, understand? Understood. Now go change into civilian clothes and get your gear. Assemble in Hall A in 20 minutes. Nicole ordered. Nicole glanced at Carl, and then the two of them also went to change into civilian clothes. 20 minutes later, everyone was assembled in Hall A. Nicole and Carl stood in front of them, waiting for Zane's departure notice. Around 9, Nicole and Carl received a message from Zane at the same time. Now go to Gate A to board the helicopter. Got it. Nicole replied to Zane. Everybody heads to Gate A. Nicole led the team to Gate. Coming to Gate A, Nicole told the mercenaries to get into the helicopter. She waited for everyone to get on board before she did, and then she ordered it to take off. The helicopter flew for a long time before it landed on the rooftop of a hotel. Zane led them to a room for a preoperative briefing. Here is the floor map of tomorrow's launch event. The four of you disguise as service crew at the launch event tomorrow and report immediately when you find the Raven members. You two monitor the perimeter of the event and immediately report anything suspicious. The other four of you will go with me to the launch event tomorrow. Let's split up. Zane ordered. After the mercenaries left, Zane looked at Nicole and Carl. If the Raven members come tomorrow, there is a good chance they will grab the thing, and you two will have to get it before they do. Zane assigned them the most important task. I will just grab the thing myself. Nicole will stay by your side to protect you. Carl glanced at Nicole. He knew Nicole would be safer with Zane. Zane looked at Nicole and thought for a moment. It would be better if you two go together. You don't have to worry about me. Securing the new product is the most important thing. Go take a rest. Out of Zane's room, Nicole said to Carl, "Don't worry about me. This injury is nothing to me, and it has basically healed." Nicole was optimistic. She was worried that Carl could not deal with the raven, and she could still help if she was there. "Why don't you always take your injuries seriously?" Carl was just as angry as he was sorry. "Why are you so overreacting? I know my condition. You just need to concentrate on securing the product. Stop worrying about me." Nicole frowned at him, exasperated by his way of reaction. "Go back and get a good rest." With that, Nicole went back to her room. Back in the room, she did not rest immediately but took out her laptop to hack into the launch event website and the surveillance system, carefully studying it. After noticing nothing was out of the ordinary, she closed the laptop and went to sleep. Early the next morning, Nicole and Carl arrived at the launch event to familiarize themselves with the place. Anyone who entered the venue was under Nicole's monitor. She had the venue under her control. Gradually, VIPs from all over the world stepped into the event venue, and people gathering in groups were chatting. Not long after, Zane arrived with 4 bodyguards disguised as participants. Out of the corner of his eye, he saw Nicole and Carl. He sat down in a place where he could have a good view of the entire venue. Everyone was talking about today's new products. "Did you hear that a new product will be launched today?" A guy with a big belly said. "Yes, I have heard that too. But there will be 2 products." Another middle-aged man said. "2? As far as I know, there will be only 1. Did you hear it wrong?" "No. I heard that there were 2 product launches today." "No way. Everyone gets the same information. You must have heard it wrong." Yet another man retorted with confidence. "Alas, if you don't believe it, forget it." The middle-aged man left the crowd and sat down in his seat. Just then, a group of people walked in, and everyone walked over to greet the leading man of the group. When Nicole saw the face of the leading man, she was stunned for a second. Carl noticed what had happened at the entrance and glanced in Nicole's direction. "What brings you here, Mr. Johnston?" "I didn't know that Mr. Johnston was also interested in this kind of launch event," the big belly man said. "I happened to be free today and heard that there was a new product launched, so I came to check it out." "How much do you all know about the new product?" Jared swept his eyes over them. "I heard it is a tech product, but I am not sure about the other." "I heard there are 2 product launches today." The middle-aged man walked up to Jared. Jared looked at him. 2. He then glanced at Max behind him, and Max lowered his head. This completely surprised Jared, who only received news that there would be a tech product launch. Apparently, he only learned about it now that there were 2 product launches today. It seems that they have made a tremendous breakthrough in research and development. With that, Jared walked to the front seats. He got a glance of Zane from the corner of his eye as he walked past him. After sitting down, he spoke a few words to Max, who went out immediately afterward. Nicole hid in an inconspicuous position where Jared would not see her, and she could have a good view of the entire venue. Soon, someone came out to officiate the event. "Welcome all of you who are taking the precious time to attend this new product launch event. Thank you, everyone." After the opening speech, the Director of Research and Development came on stage to introduce the first new product. "Thank you for your patience in listening to the introduction. Next, I'm going to reveal the first new product for you." After saying that, a staff member pushed a display cart onto the stage. "It seems that there are really 2 new products," everyone in the audience said. "This thing on the display cart is our new tech product this year. Let's witness it together." With that, the Director of Research and Development pulled the silk cloth covering off the display cart. An artificial intelligence robot appeared in front of everyone's eyes. "I call this AI robot brave because it can help humans do dangerous tasks, go to places that humans can't reach, and protect humans from injury in some environments, reducing human casualty." After that, the Director of Research and Development came on stage to introduce the first new product. Thank you for your patience in listening to the introduction. Next, I'm going to reveal the first new product for you. After saying that, a staff member pushed a display cart onto the stage. It seems that there are really 2 new products, everyone in the audience said. This thing on the display cart is our new tech product this year. Let's witness it together. With that, the director of research and development pulled the silk cloth covering off the display cart. An artificial intelligence robot appeared in front of everyone's eyes. I call this AI robot Brave because it can help humans do dangerous tasks, go to places that humans can't reach, and protect humans from injury in some environments, reducing human casualty. Next, I'm going to test Brave for everyone to see if it is up to the snuff in handling different emergency situations. The director of R&D took out a flamethrower and aimed it at a staff member who was wearing protective clothing. With a gentle press, a flame shot toward the staff member wearing protective clothing. Brave quickly made its judgment, lunged at the staff, and led him away from the flame. It only let go of him after making sure there was no danger. The staff member stood up unscathed and faced everyone, saying that he was fine and had not been harmed. There was applause from the audience. With Brave, you don't have to hire a bodyguard. 1 Brave can take on 100 men. This year's new product is a surprise. Some people sitting in their seats praising Brave on stage. Brave has passed the test. Next, we will test its rescue capability. A staff member trapped in an iron barrel was carried and placed at the center of the stage. He called out to Brave and then shouted for help. Brave saw the staff member trapped in the barrel, scanned the surroundings to make sure there was no danger, and walked over. First, it scanned the physical condition of the trapped person, determining that he was okay, and scanned the iron barrel before the rescue began. It took Brave just a few minutes to get the trapped staff member out. The audience applauded again. Just then, a group of men came in from the entrance, sat in the back seats, and looked at the stage. Zane, Nicole, and Carl were alerted by the scouts outside and immediately noticed those men. They reiterated the situation to everyone, and the mercenaries raised their guard further. There were many tests on stage, and Brave completed them excellently. Its performance was unanimously recognized by everyone present. Are you all surprised after seeing Brave's performance? The R&D director tried to hype up the atmosphere on the stage. If anyone is interested, you may order it from the staff after the event. The showcase of our first new product ends here. Next, I'm going to show you another new product, which is an advanced medical instrument. Without further ado, please welcome this new piece of product. The director gestured to the staff members under the stage, and then they pushed the exhibition cart to the stage and handed it to the director. After you all have seen the first product, you must wonder about what this medical device is next to me, right? After all, our current level of healthcare is still limited in many aspects, and our emergency rooms can't treat patients in time, which is unfortunate for the patients and their families, and we deeply regret it. But starting from now on, we don't have to worry about it anymore. There will be no more regrets because we have developed a world-class advanced medical instrument. With it, even if you encounter an emergency, you will be taken care of at the soonest possible time so that there will be no more regrets in your family, and the death rate in the world will decline. After the director made his speech, the audience erupted into thunderous applause, which showed the audience resonated with what the director said.
Thank you for listening. If you have enjoyed this story, please like and share so others can see it too. Also hit the subscription button and notification bell so you can be notified on our next release. Thank you for your support. God bless you.